Clayton and the Frozen Food Caper. Our story about Clayton here begins in Murrells Inlet here in South Carolina, and our street ends at the Great Salt Marsh, which is this big open space that stretches north and south for miles and miles. And in the background you can see Myrtle Beach and all the high rises, and they're a couple miles off. And I often take my bike down there, and there's a vacant lot right at the edge of the marsh, and I sit and read or watch all the birds and the fiddler crabs going about their business. But my reading, however, oftentimes leads me to just closing my book with the intention of meditating, which is really just an excuse to take a nap. So here I was, sound asleep in my beat-up blue folding chair one day, when I feel a sudden cold wetness on my knee, and that's followed by what felt like a rough tongue licking my kneecap. Well, as you can imagine, that got my attention in a hurry, and my eyes popped open, and here's this ancient dog staring at me, and just as our eyes made contact, I hear an older woman standing next to my chair say, "Well, I don't think that Clayton will be with us for that much longer." And I'm assuming she was referring to her dog, so I ask, how old is Clayton? And she says, well, we're not quite that sure. Somewhere around 12 or 13. He's been with us quite a spell. And meanwhile, Clayton is, tired of doing his business on my knee, and he's off rooting through the cord grass, and he's looking for all these fiddler crabs, and there's hundreds of them. And they're running off everywhere, trying to get out of his way. And he's doing this really, in-depth investigations on a lot of deep woofs and all. He's just having a great time. So I say to my visitor, "Gee, dogs are sure great companions." "Yes, they are," she says. "They don't ask for much. Just feed them, pet them, let them run around some, get involved in a little romance from time to time. And they're happy with their lot in life. Folks could learn a lot from dogs." "That's true," I said. "Yeah," she said, "a whole lot. The world might be a better place if we minded our manners and behaved like dogs. Well, at least most of the time." To keep the peace, I didn't say anything about the knee licking and how that fit into the recommended, dog behavior, way of life. So I watched Clayton go about his detective business for a while, and then I asked the lady, by the way, how did Clayton come to be called Clayton? That's not a usual name for a dog." "No, it's not," she said. "We named him after my brother Clayton. My brother, that is, was always chasing after the girls when he was younger. And this here Clayton was pretty much the same. Even when he was a pup, he'd take off after some lady dog run. Lord, how he could run. It was unbelievable. So we named him Clayton." And then she said, "He's also got a police record, you know." "Your brother?" "No, no, no, not him, this Clayton." "Oh, really?" I said. "Sad but true," she said. Before I could ask her about how this came about, she filled me in. She said, "Well, the truth is, the police picked him up down in the road in the grocery." I said, "You're kidding." "No," she responded. "Caught him red-handed in the frozen food aisle. I had to go and bail him out. Must have been embarrassing." "Sure was." And there's silence for a while. We're sitting there, and the breeze comes up, and the sun's beating down. And then, just to be neighborly, I ask her, how's the other Clayton doing?" "Oh, you mean my brother?" "Yeah, him." "Well, he's getting on in years as well as this Clayton. Gonna be in his mid-80s soon." "Gee, that's great," I said. "Yep," she said. "Got himself a new girlfriend, too. She's teaching him how to dance the Carolina Shag." "That's a pretty strenuous dance, isn't it?" I asked her. "Oh, I'm sure he'll manage it all right." With that, she called to Clayton, the dog, that is, and went on her way. I couldn't help but think of the old adage, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." Says who?